Welcome to the Art of Cashflow podcast, where we talk about real, authentic, genuine human beings that have started their real estate journey in a way for us to give back to all those thinking about getting into this endeavor, what it truly takes, both on the mental side, the strategy side, and of course, the community side as well. I'm your host, Calvin Chin, founder of Zencos. Let's get into it. Bruce, what's up, brother? Thanks for jumping on the podcast today, brother. How we doing?
Thank you. Good so far. Got a
Yeah.
airport run an hour,
Are you guys
so
headed back
excited
to
for
New
that.
York from Kentucky or
Yeah,
what?
we are headed back to New York. We did some work here at Angie's house.
Yeah.
Got a lot of the walls painted. Her bathroom is right now is under construction. We
Hmm.
got flew out some friends, and then
Yeah.
we did a bunch of bourbon tours and cave
Yeah.
tours.
Are you guys in the Bourbon and Cave tours?
Yeah. Those pictures.
Yeah. So little work and play, you know?
Exactly.
That's what the Airbnbs are all about, I guess. So I love, man. So, tell everyone, dude, Bruce, I mean, you're 16 years old. No kidding. You're like, what, how old? 23?
25.
25. Okay. And then when did you buy your first deal?
I bought my first deal back in 22,
When you were
late of
22
2020. Yeah.
or 2022. How old were you then?
I was 21 at the time.
21. Dang. So that's crazy, man. I just want to talk about that real quick because
Mhm.
you know, I felt like I was young when we bought the first property. I was 23. You were 21, man. So like, in 2 years, I mean, when I was 21, I was not really thinking about this kind of thing yet. So like, how did you even start thinking about real estate at such a young age, man?
Yeah, so from 2019 to or 2021 actually, I was in college for computer science.
Mm,
That was like during the COVID era, so I wasn't really paying attention. It was like everything was online.
hmm.
Uh, so what happened was my parents actually got their home back from some tenants who weren't paying anything. So they finally got evicted. They told me to convert it to an Airbnb because it was guaranteed money rather
Mm.
than 2 years for like a paycheck from the tenants. And at first, I was doing it as a mom and pop shop. Didn't know anything about it. Was no automation. Had to individually message each guest. I think at the time I was had 6 listings up on Airbnb just from my parents
Mm.
fourplex work.
Yeah.
And so eventually I found our Bigger Pockets podcast. Listened to a little bit to Rob Built.
Hmm.
He was the short-term rental guru at the time. And so
Hmm.
I learned about automation, guest messaging, and automating every single aspect of it, dynamic pricing and everything. And all my pricing soared, the revenue soared, everything soared. And after that, in 2022, I actually went to New Orleans during my spring break with my friends. And at this time, I actually w- dropped out of college to do
Oh,
this full
really?
time. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
because my parents actually let me keep the money that was made
From
from the
there.
Airbnb.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
And so I dropped out of college, went to New Orleans with my friends during the spring break. Yeah, the ADR was so much higher in New Orleans. The prices of homes were so much cheaper than New York. I was actually looking for another place in New York to buy for Airbnb purposes.
Yep.
However, I mean, we both know the prices of New York. Um, so I went to New Orleans during spring break. I actually didn't know that it was so high because of Mardi Gras. So I kind of fell into that trap when I first bought bought my house. But I mean, it was during spring break, so during Mardi Gras and all that. So everything was so much higher, like the pricing of per Airbnb and everything. So I fell in that trap. Luckily I had the support of my realtor and all that. Um, Actually, my first realtor that I found on Zillow, what happened was I guess I was so young and so I guess not like non-experienced investor. It was my first purchase. And so she didn't really take me seriously, and she actually ghosted me, my first realtor. But
Yeah.
luckily, I found my second realtor. I lucky enough to have bonded with him, actually going to his wedding in June. Um, Met his ex-fiance as well. And so he trusted that I was gonna purchase. I would like say what I was gonna do, and so he walked me through every single thing. And if I didn't, I probably would have bought the wrong house. Probably would have bought in the ghetto. Um, and he actually told me like he wouldn't even go there if I wanted to buy that house because it was unsafe for him. So
Mm.
that's how I gained his trust initially. Yeah. And so I eventually for, got my house in contract, got the clear to close for my first property. However, the seller didn't arrive to the closing for the 6 hours, and he actually didn't arrive for the whole day. So we weren't able to close at all. And so we
Interesting.
waited. Yeah. So we waited the next 3 months to buy our first house. It was the same purchase or same cost in terms of like how much to close. And so I was able to close super, super quickly because I already had the clear to close from my lenders.
Okay.
And that was my first ever property. And everything was turnkey at the time. The
Okay.
sellers were able to lend on or to furnish it, to paint it, to get everything ready for an Airbnb. And so I just had to get photos ready and post it on Airbnb.
Yep.
And I, scary enough, but I didn't even go to the house to look at it when I first purchased it. I actually just did
Mm.
everything through a video tour from my realtor.
Okay. Yeah.
And I fully trusted him since the beginning after the statements that he told me because he
Okay.
helped me for like the last 6 months before the
Okay.
first closing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so from that experience, then tell me, like, what'd you learn? First deal, a lot of things on that to unpack, but what'd you learn?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like to fully trust your realtor, to your agent, I mean, they want your best intentions. And if you're able to get past that initial hurdle of that trust, I feel like the bond that you make from just your agent and in general, like if they're not trying to just sell you something just to make a commission off something,
Mm.
but they want your and they have your best interest at heart, it's really easy to step your first foot through the door for into real estate.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more, man. Having a proper boots on the ground, dude, that actually cares about you, right,
Yeah,
is huge. And but I think that's the hardest part as well, right? It's like, hey,
exactly.
maybe sounds like you got pretty lucky you're your person, but
Mhm.
I think even just building that relationship in general is like a skill set that no one really talks about. It's like, hey, you kind of have to like be a human being. You have to trust someone. You have to give trust, right?
Exactly.
And vice versa. So something you did. So tell me, Bruce. I mean, you're now 25. How many doors do you have now?
Yeah, so I have 12 doors right now and
Crazy, crazy.
yeah, I'm in contract for two
25.
more,
Yeah,
contracting
yeah.
two more by the end of the month.
Okay, so
Closing it.
tell me about your scale because there's a couple of things to unpack here, right? Even your
Yeah.
first deal, or even the 10 deals after that, right?
Hmm.
Um, how did you even get lending? Because you've never had a traditional job, right? You just went from college, dropout, real estate, full time.
Exactly.
So how did you do lending?
Yeah, so my first ever deal was I went conventional and I had my father be a co-signer on the house.
Mm, nice, yeah,
And they actually didn't consider rental income as actual income. And so I that's why I had to get my father as a co-signer.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
At the time he had two jobs still. And so my next two deals, I actually went DSCR, which only
okay,
requires you to put 20% down, and they use the income from the actual property to approve for the loan. And so you
yep.
don't actually need any documents. They call it a no
Tell,
doc loan.
yeah, tell people what does DSCR mean for people who don't know what it means.
Yeah, so DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio. So if you're able to get your property, whether it's long-term rental, mid-term rental, or short-term rental, that income to cover the mortgage plus some, they will approve for that loan if you put a 20 to 25% down, maybe even more to get that
Hmm.
ratio correct.
Yeah, and what's the ratio typically? 1.25.
I think at the time, yeah, it was 1.25 to 1.5 when I did it.
Yep. Yep. So guys, what that means is that essentially, if you are renting something out for $1,200, or if you're renting something out for $1,000 a month, and the mortgage every month is $1,000 a month, the DSCR ratio is 1:1, right? So that means
Mhm.
they want 1,250 in rent per month for $1,000 mortgage. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so tell me about the scale piece then, right? So you went from like the last 3 years, man, just or 4 years, or just freaking, bought a bunch of properties. So, tell me about, how you did scale.
Yeah, so first three properties, the first one was conventional, the next two were DSCR. The fourth one, I actually partnered with my cousin. So
Mm,
we went 50-50. I did the rehab, he put in the money, and then I fronted the money for the furnishing, and
yeah.
we got that done. And then the fifth one, I actually got a full 100% DSCR renovation loan, or that's what they called it. And so I got the purchase price or the purchase finance, and as
Mhm.
well as the rehab furnish, or not furnish, but what's it called, covered.
Mhm.
And
Nice.
that deal was actually the one I got scammed on from my
Okay.
contractor. And
Yeah.
so
Wow.
yeah, and
Okay.
so
Let's tell us about that deal, right? So again, it's not all rainbows and butterflies, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah, so
we open kimono, right? We're full vulnerability. So tell us about what
yeah,
happened on that
yeah.
deal.
So my first four deals, I was super, super used to me doing the construction on my end. It was mainly cosmetic upgrades. And so when I got into something a little bit scary, it was a full gut, needed new plumbing, needed new electrical, new roof, new foundation, everything. And so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me get a contractor. Let me have him handle this. I'm probably not going to be here for the next 3 months in
Yeah.
New Orleans to handle that scope of work.
Yep.
But I didn't know at the time like how contractors really worked. And but now I do. Initially, I paid them 50%
Ooh.
to
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 50% to cover materials and everything. After 50%, he actually called another draw for the roof after he finished that and so on. And I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense. I already gave you like at the time it was 40,000. So he quoted me like 80,000 and some change for the
Mm.
whole bid.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I already gave you 40,000. How did like why how do you need another draw already? And he said like to me, like at the time I was like, I already bought like a bunch of materials. And I'm like, okay, so where are the materials? And then
Mm.
it was just a bunch of stuff that I actually just blindly trusted him for.
Yeah.
And it became a thing where I just paid him for every draw he requested, till I just went out of pocket until he got to a certain extent to when the bank was able to do like an actual draw from themselves. And so when the
Mm.
bank did it, that draw I gave it to him, and he actually walked away from a project right after.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. So what was your learning lesson there, dude? With these contractors.
Um, don't pay them until their exact job is finished. So most
Yeah.
contractors and good contractors will actually go out of pocket until the work is done and then request that draw from you so that they
Mm-hmm.
can continue.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
doing it step by step, essentially.
Yeah. Love that. So lower upfront for sure. And
Hmm.
then having them kind of front it and then paying the back. I love that. I think more is it's like really it's like, hey, like you don't pay for work that hasn't been done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Because like contractors, especially, I agree with you, man. The ones that I have had issues with in general, they're the ones that just didn't have financial solvency themselves.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they don't have financial solvency themselves, it's slippery slope because then they're trying to do your project to pay off their project, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
which is tough, right? So cool. Love that. Um, Now that you're 25 years old, you're a wise real estate investor at this point, right? You're a veteran at this point, man. Tell
I
me
hope so.
now, yeah.
I hope so.
tell me tell me now that you've joined the community, right?
Yeah.
What how have you leveraged the community, man? How has that helped expanded even, I guess, the next journey and the next chapter for Bruce?
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm in contract with on two deals now, and it's supposed to be closing one next week and one at the end of the month. And I wouldn't be able to do that without the community. Just being
Yeah,
able to leverage my knowledge in short-term rentals and convincing a bunch of investors to pretty much pool our money together to get some deals done.
yeah.
Um,
How many partners you
I
got in that
mean,
deal? 10? 10 people total?
Yeah, yeah. So 10 on the one in actually in the same market I'm already in New Orleans. And then I
Yeah.
have one for one in Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I am right now with my friend Angie and her friends.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I feel like you guys have gotten super close, and everyone's kind of doing stuff together, and I think that's the power. It's the next chapter. I know, Bruce, when you and I
Yeah.
talked about all the time. It's like, how do you really scale? I mean, 12 units is very impressive for 25 years old, but now getting to 100, it's you can't do it yourself, right? And you know this
Yeah.
since the beginning,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so if for anyone listening, guys, I don't think it's an if, it's a when, right? If you want to use real estate as a vehicle for financial like freedom, truly, it's so tough to do by yourself. Like at some point, you're going to need someone to come in, whether it's private money lenders or partners or something, right? And
Yeah.
so, that's a lesson I'm learning is that, for Bruce, you've been able to scale because of people,
Yeah.
right? And now that you've expanded that more, it's like even crazier. So, all that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this next year, next 12 months here, Bruce, what's your theme? What's your big theme for the next 12 months here?
I actually think I can close on five by the end of the year.
Okay.
My big theme, go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
Go big and go home. How about that?
Yeah. Or
Abundance,
go big and
limitless.
buy a home.
Go big and buy homes. I love that. That's a
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Go big. I love that. That's a first. Cool, man. Last question, dude, for us is
Yeah.
because now you're a wise 25-year-old. If you go back in time and give your
Mhm.
advice to your 21-year-old self, which wasn't that
Yeah.
far along, what would you give?
Yeah, so when I first started, I did like obviously I didn't tell my parents till a year later, and they actually found out through my cousins who told my uncles. And
Snitches,
I feel
man.
like
Kidding. Yeah,
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. I should have been more open with my journey since the beginning. I feel like if I was more open, um, I would have met a lot more people earlier along my journey. And don't be afraid to show numbers, to talk numbers, to do any of that. I feel like people are really scared when it comes to
Yeah,
that, like how much you make on your W-2, how much money you have in your bank, and so on,
yeah,
because opportunities only arise when investors or anyone knows what you got, right? Like how can they bring you along if
yeah,
they don't know
yeah,
if you're
yeah,
interested? And so I think being able to bring in partners since the beginning or from the beginning, I probably would be able to scale a lot faster. Not that I'm doing that now, but
yeah,
yeah, just in general.
yeah. I love that. It's like how do I say this? Yeah, you want to go fast, you go alone, you want to go far, you go together, right? At the end of the day. And
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that you're now incorporating that. And it's like, how do people even know what you're doing if you don't tell them?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
not like they can mind read. So yeah. So how are you gonna live in that more, dude? How are you gonna tell more people about what you do?
Maybe social media. I've been not
I
been
was gonna
strong in every
say,
social media
literally,
game.
literally, literally about to say that to you, man. I was like, all right, man, you gotta get that social media game going, bro.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You're the only 25-year-old I know
So
that doesn't. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I'm
you
not good
got an
at it.
incredible journey, man. Seriously, you got
Yeah.
a lot of runway in your life left, and just know, man. Also, Bruce, last thing on my end for you to do is like, you know,
Mhm.
don't rush it. Right, you have so much runway now.
Yeah.
Now it's about
Yeah.
being able to stay in the game. Right, real
Yeah.
estate is super simple. It's like get into the game, which is hard for people, but once you're in the game, the second part is very simple, but sometimes can be hard to do. Is stay in the game, be
Yeah.
able to stay in the game. Right, it means that don't get knocked out.
Mhm.
So I love it, man. All right, brother. Hey, dude. Thanks so much, dude, for just taking the time. I know you're traveling in Kentucky, looking at deals here.
Yeah.
Um, but appreciate you being an inspiration for anyone because if anyone ever has an excuse, like, oh, I'm too young, I'm too old, I don't have a job, I have a job. Bruce was 21, didn't have any job, college dropout, so and is doing it.
Yeah.
So
Never
yeah,
went the
man.
traditional way. Never had held a W-2.
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
man, in this life and journey now that you probably didn't notice during COVID, but yeah, dude, like white collar jobs are disappearing, right? So you might have picked the right thing where,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
software
That's what
engineers are getting picked off right now, left and right
yeah, that's what
with
people are
AI. So
telling me.
Yeah. So you might have you had the nice foresight there, but
Mhm.
it's never too late. So, all right, brother. Hey, thanks for sharing your insights and sharing with the
Yeah.
community, dude.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course, brother. All right. Good stuff, man. How was that?
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. It
Yeah.
was real
Yeah.
fun.
I love it, man. I think, yeah, dude, you gotta tell your story more, dude. You got a great story,
Hmm.
right? In general,
Thank you.
dude.
Thank
And
you.
social media, of course, you're doing it within the community, great, but you know, don't
Hmm.
be a light, dude. Be a lighthouse for everyone. Be a beam for everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Thank you.
yeah, cool, man. Hey, man, tell AJ I say hi. Enjoy
Okay.
the rest of your time here. I know you guys are jumped to the airport, so I'll catch
Yeah.
you guys
All right.
later.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
peace,
All right.
man. Later. Thank you for listening to the Art of Cashflow podcast. If you want more and this spoke to you, then we'd love to see you and meet you in person. You can click this link below to get if we're going to be in your neighborhood soon. We look forward to seeing and meeting every single one of you guys. God bless. Have a great day.